Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Fix. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing UFC 200, the main card, with Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsbreaker.com. Right now, we're going to look at Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones. Nick Kalikas, the odds I'm seeing right now are Jon Jones minus 290. On the other side, Cormier plus 245. And of course, the talk in their first fight, entering their first planned rematch at UFC 197 was in what awesome shape Jon Jones was in. He was training better than ever, eating better than ever, and all of that. And then, of course, that fight got canceled. Then he fought OSP, and now the talk is that he looked a little bit lackluster, rusty, whatever word you want to use. And I'm wondering if that might not be serving to keep this line a little bit low, because I'm looking at this minus 290. If Jon Jones has a 75% or better chance of winning this one, then he has value at that line. And I just look at this fight. I look at how the first fight went. Cormier is older now, right? Jon Jones is 29. Cormier is 37. He still has the awesome reach advantage. Just all the skills that he had in the first fight, probably even more of an advantage here. I'm thinking this is a fave or pass situation. Jon Jones at minus 290. Where'd you open this line, Nick?
Minus 300. Mm-hmm. So spot on. And it's staying ballpark, but early action did come in on Cormier. A lot of people do believe what you said is true. Jon Jones did not look the best against OSP. And a lot of people are thinking that Cormier has a better shot now for sure, because the first time around, it was a little bit more even with a little bit more people coming in on Jon Jones. And then when the line got reposted, when the fight was reannounced, obviously after Jones OSP, more action has been steady coming in on Cormier. Now, again, parlay heavy is going to be on Jon Jones. So the sports books, it's been basically the same across the board for this main card. They're going to get two-way action on this fight as well. So it's not going to be like we need Jon Jones huge or anything like that. But for now, we do need Jon Jones slightly right here.
That just baffles me. I don't understand it, Nick, because we see a ton of these fights where the public comes all in on the favorite and drives the line way up. It probably opened already too high, and then they bet it up even higher. And I'm thinking that this fight has that written all over it. The only knock on Jones is that he did look a little bit disinterested against OSP. But I would expect this fight to take a lopsided public action on the favorite. And you're telling me that hasn't been the case. You expect that to come in later on this week? Do you have any explanation for why the public has been betting Cormier slightly?
No, it's just, right now it seems like a trendy thing to do, I guess, a little bit more.
Take dogs, huh?
Yeah, and Cormier getting a little bit more confident from seeing that kind of lackluster performance against OSP from Jones. He made comments like, if that was me in the cage tonight, he would have lost that fight. And you know what? You can't argue that, because honestly, I know all of us basically say Jones won the first fight, and we make it seem like it was relatively easy. But early on, Cormier definitely put up a fight, and it was a pretty competitive fight. But I agree with you. Now, the fact is, Cormier is not getting any younger at all, even though he might have a little bit more confidence based on that OSP performance. I guarantee you that performance also motivated Jon Jones. And at the same time, OSP is not a bad fighter. He's kind of a hard guy to get in there with to mix it up. So you're going to have certain fighters that make you, the way they match up with you, sometimes make you look not as great. So I think that was that situation. Jon Jones obviously got a little bit of rust off his shoulders from that fight. I think now he's going to be a little bit more motivated, a little bit more hungry. I still think I agree with you. It's a favorite or pass situation. And
the OSP fight made perfect sense to me, right? It's not the big fight that Jones wanted. OSP is a guy who he was like handling and had an edge over, but he didn't want to get caught, so he was fighting a little bit conservatively. And it was a little bit of a boring fight, but from a strategy perspective, from Jones's point of view, it makes perfect sense to me, right? I don't see it as a fight that raises any red flags to me.
Not too much. Everybody's kind of overreacting a little bit. And that happens across all sports, I guess, with something like that, a performance like that for somebody that you expect to be so dominant. So, yeah, it's a little bit of overreaction. I think it was good that it went 5 rounds for Jones, honestly, to kind of tell us where his cardio was, or just to get that kind of work, because regardless of the training and how hard you're working, real-time competition in any sport is a different beast. Absolutely. So I think he needed to get that under his wing, and now he's got it. And I do think that Jon Jones probably has an easier time against Cormier at this spot right here. And you mentioned it; it's pretty much market price around 300 still. There's a 250 floating around out there right now on Jon Jones. So I think if you do see a spot around 250, it is worth a stab for sure, or if it drops down.
Yeah, I'm scratching my head. Do you expect the public to continue to be basically split on this, and do you expect any sharp action to come in either which way?
Well, the funny thing is there's been some sharp action on Jon Jones already.
Yeah.
So it tells you that, that's how many public bettors are coming in the other way. Because the line, even with sharp action hitting Jones, it hasn't really gotten ridiculous. Now it is raising up a little bit because you're saying about the 290. Now it's kind of creeping from like 280 mark to about 300 now. So sharp action on Jones is getting a little bit more respect, but it's still not going crazy like oftentimes it might. So yeah, I mean, I think we are probably going to need Jon Jones when it's all said and done.
You think so?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big decision, but I do think the sportsbooks are probably going to need him, and that's okay with me.
Yeah, because normally I would look at this fight, and it's one of those fights where the books, need the dog, but if the favorite wins, they take a loss, and it's kind of like an acceptable loss for them to take. You're saying they're actually going to need Jon Jones here. That's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I hope so. I hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. Anything could change. But if you look at it, I mean, all the UFC stars have been going down. I mean, the big stars as well. Jon Jones is almost like the last man standing out of that group that are elite level in popularity and fighting caliber. I mean, you look at Ronda Rousey, she went down. I mean, you look at even Luke Rockhold recently, even though he wasn't, I mean, he got a ton of respect, obviously, but that upset against Bisping was huge. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still kind of surprised that it went down like the way it did. Of course, Conor McGregor getting beat. I mean, it just seems like all of the UFC's top caliber fighters are losing. So I think a lot of that momentum in people's minds are like, you know what? Everybody's beatable now. Let's take a shot at this dog. This good dog is obviously a championship worthy type of fighter. So it might have a little bit of an impact on the line.
Yeah, I feel like in those fights, you could make a pretty strong case for the dog in the same way that I feel like you could make a strong case for Travis Brown against Cain Velasquez in UFC 200. But I feel like this fight, Jones and Cormier, is a totally different animal. All right, Nick Kalikas, I'm willing to put my professional reputation on the line here. I'll give Jon Jones at minus 290 as an official pick. If you had to make a bet here at the current lines, what would it be?
I would lay it. I just wouldn't go crazy laying a lot of units
Right.
on it, but I would lay Jon Jones as well. Under 3-1, if you can find it out there, and there is some spots that still have it, yeah, I think there is some value there.
All right, Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsbreaker.com. Thanks so much. Talk again very soon.
Thank you.
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.